Hey guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So in the little clip right before this, you saw me picking some blackberries out there in our little blackberry patch beside the barn. Those are a thornless variety that I planted from a couple of blackberry plants about 3 years ago, I think it was. And they produce abundantly. I've got plenty for some scones, some desserts, maybe even enough, well, I'm sure enough to do some jelly with as well. And so today I'm actually going to be making a very simple, old-fashioned classic dessert. We're going to be having leftovers for supper tonight. Last night I made a casserole. It's called chicken tortilla bake, and I sort of compare it to a chicken Tex-Mex-ish sort of lasagna. It's basically layers of diced chicken with a cream sauce and some green chilies and cheese, and instead of pasta you use cut up tortillas, and then you just bake it all together. It's really good. And so since we're having leftovers tonight, and there's not a ton left, I mean there's still plenty enough for dinner, but maybe smaller portions, I thought I would go ahead and make a dessert to go with it and use up some of those wonderful blackberries. So I'm going to make blackberry cobbler. Alright, so I have my oven heating up to 375 degrees. And I've got about a cup or so of blackberries here in my bowl. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar. And I'm just going to kind of sprinkle this over the berries, give them a little shake, kind of coat them with the sugar, and then I'm just going to set those aside for now. And then in my mixing bowl here, I've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And to that, I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm going to add in a half a teaspoon of salt. Correction, that's 2 tablespoons of sugar. Alright. Next I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. And I'm just going to give those a quick stir with my whisk here. Now I'm going to add in my liquid ingredients. I've got 1 stick of unsalted butter here that I've melted and let it cool down. 1 stick, or half a cup. Pour those in. And then I'm going to add in 1 cup of milk. And I'm just going to whisk this together until it's nice and smooth. Okay, now I'm going to take my baking pan here. This is just a standard square baking pan, 9-inch I believe, and I have greased it lightly. And so now I'm going to take the batter here and I'm going to spread it in my pan. So now I've got my blackberries here, and again they're coated with the sugar, and a little bit of the juice will start to come out of those. That's perfectly fine. And I'm just going to take those gorgeous berries and I'm just going to sprinkle them all over the top. Alright, so now this is going to go into the oven at, again, 375 degrees for 45 to 55 minutes, or until this is beautiful and golden. Alright you guys, so that is how you make the Blackberry Cobbler. This is something I've made for my family for many, many years. It's just an old-fashioned, simple dessert and great use for some fresh berries. You can make this with blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, same recipe, just substitute the different kinds of berries. And so if you would like to make this, of course I have a printable version of this recipe on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, and I will put a link to that down below. So thanks for joining me here in the kitchen. I will talk to y'all next time.